You're listening to Inside Real Estate, where we go deep into the minds of real estate professionals. Here are your hosts, Paul and Sal.
I love that chick.
That's pretty.
I wonder if she's cute in real life.
I mean, obviously.
Probably, right? What's up, everyone?
She's British.
Paul Apostolakis. We are Inside Real Estate. You've got myself.
Oh.
You've got my co-host, Salvatore Kuzmano. Brad Weisgerber just walked into the podcast. Nobody ever knows if he's coming or going. Today we have the Angel brothers on the show, Joe and John Angel.
Morning.
Good morning, boys.
Morning,
they
boys.
are tax professionals. They know everything about taxes that you could possibly imagine. They are part of the accounting firm, Angel and Company.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So we'll talk to you guys a little bit about tax reform. That should be interesting. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff that's happened with the whole different changes. So I want you guys to kind of get into that, talk to the audience a little bit about that. A few things I want to talk about on the show today. We're going to talk about jobs. For the first time ever, there's more people employed than there are unemployed. I mean, unemployment's lower than people. What is it? I don't even. What am I doing? There are more jobs than people out of work, basically, right?
Yeah.
So which is crazy.
Jobs numbers
More
came
jobs
in
openings than people out of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that
Okay.
crazy? Yeah. Sorry. So a little early this morning.
Man, we would be in pretty tough.
Yeah, it would not be good.
That'd be a bad roll.
We'll talk about the market. We'll talk about the economy. Everybody kind of is waiting for the market to crash, and I want to kind of talk to you guys, the Angel brothers, about what you think about the impending doom that people are talking about. And I don't totally agree with it, but we'll go into that. First and foremost, guys, give us some background on you. Tell the audience what you're all about, what you guys do. You guys are both very handsome, by the way.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah,
Paul.
very handsome.
Yeah, just trying to keep up with our mortgage professionals
Yeah.
across from us. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Not
I've
across
been
from
doing
you.
this. This is Joe Angel. Been doing this for about 15 years.
Don't do that. You're aging yourself, bro.
Yeah, 15 years. CPA, I have my master's. The firm started about 40 years ago. Family business. My mom's there. My dad's there. My brother's there. Here's John.
You guys should have a reality show, by the way.
We've talked
Oh,
about
it's
it.
complete dysfunction. We're Italian, and we'd make way more money with the reality show.
The reality show would
Yeah.
probably
Oh,
make a
yeah.
lot of money.
A ton. We talk about it all the time. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
It'd be like a slam dunk.
I might
hit.
just hire a crew just to follow you. Would you be okay with that?
I'd be all right
Well,
with
I'll
it.
go half with you because I think there's some potential there. Yeah.
As long as my mom's in there, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
How'd you guys kind of build your niche, right? Which, I mean, I guess you do everything, right? But
Yeah, we do everything, but really it's small businesses and the owners of those businesses. But as you guys know, we work with a lot of realtors, a lot of mortgage professionals, not just here in Michigan, but throughout the country. And we just got into that industry, and we know the industry really well, and how we met you guys. And
You guys do, I'll testify to it. You guys do a really good job. You guys did my taxes. You guys just know your stuff. You know how to navigate the. John, you're really good. When I have a question, you kind of know way more than I think you should.
so I'm not good, Paul? Or,
no.
Okay,
Joe,
no, that's
you're
cool.
very
No,
good.
we'll
Very
start
good.
like this
Yeah.
today. That's fine, Paul.
Yeah.
No, I mean, Italians versus the Greeks. Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's like a
I'm
nail in
just
the
saying,
tire.
you guys
Man.
know your shit. I mean, let's be honest.
Thank you, Paul.
I
No.
appreciate it. I mean, it's our job, so
Good.
we try to be good at it. I don't want to. We have a lot of referrals, and that's how most of our business is. So,
Yeah.
we want to take care of all our clients,
Right.
and we don't want to do bad for one, because then it looks bad for who referred them in. So,
Yeah, you guys are a referral-based business. It's all about doing good work, and you guys have a good reputation, which is good.
yeah, we
It's
try
not
to
easy
keep it up.
build. Yeah.
Yeah.
You talk a lot about, or you said that you do a lot of small business owners and referral based. Do you also do individual just tax preparation for
Oh, yeah.
individuals?
That's
Yeah,
all.
we do. And as John said, we try to treat every client the same, whether it's a 1040 or, a guy that has 15 businesses. Just every individual we treat the same, but we do a lot of individual prep, 1040 tax preparation as well. Yep.
Got it. So, guys, obviously we've had a lot of changes with the tax code. You guys are kind of in the thick of it. I get a lot of questions. I don't know. I mean, that's not my forte. So I'm going to defer to you guys. What are some the major differences in the coming years that people should expect or be prepared for?
Well, I'd say the major first thing, brackets are lower. So overall, you're going to just be paying less tax with that. Another big one are the itemized deduction. Standard deduction has changed. It's doubled now. So a lot of people itemize, which is mortgage interest, property taxes, donations, stuff like that. Now that deduction's doubled. So a lot of people won't be itemizing; they'll just be taking that standard deduction.
You get a choice. You either itemize or you take the standard deduction. Married filing jointly, roughly $24,000 is a new standard deduction. So you have to have real estate taxes, mortgage interest, donations, over that amount to be able to itemize. So they're trying to simplify the tax code by adding that in. There's some new limits on things too, where real estate taxes, as you guys know in your industry, used to be able to do what you wanted with those. Those are capped off at $10,000 now. So that's a change.
So prior, you could write off all of it, right? And now it's capped at $10,000. So if you're like living in Grosse Pointe or have a bigger house,
For sure. And a big difference too is, those taxes that you write off, the real estate tax, it's also any income tax to a state you've paid in. So like just state withholding on your W-2 with your property taxes, that's capped off at $10,000.
Wow.
So that's really going to limit people like in California, in New York, stuff like that. I mean, that's capped off quickly.
Yeah,
and that's
SALT
most
deduction
people out
amount,
there, right? Yeah.
And it's all inclusive, like the combination of those two.
The culmination of those two. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you guys like it? So that's the
We have
ultimate.
it, so it starts in 2018.
Right.
Most of them. Some of them don't kick into 2019. So we haven't actually prepared a tax return with the new code.
Sure.
We're just fielding a lot of questions. Overall, though, I think there's a lot of wins in the new tax code. Something to keep in mind too. So if you're a W-2 employee, before your unreimbursed expenses, cell phone, meals and entertainment, that kind of stuff, you could write that off. You can no longer write that off anymore.
Oh, no kidding! I didn't know that.
If you're a
At all?
W-2 employee,
If you're a
if
W-2.
you're a 1099 or if you have a small business, you can still write that stuff
So
off.
for all those loan officers out there or that
you
are
go.
W-2'd, right? Because that was me, right? I would entertain. I would do a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
I can't write that off if I'm a loan officer. I'm just W-2 now, right?
Right.
Correct, unless you have a separate entity, an LLC or a rental or something, another vehicle that you can go to with those deductions.
Salvatore, we
What
started
about
the business
travel?
at the right time.
Travel, same thing for W-2 people.
Can't write it off.
Correct.
So either the company pays for your travel or you're screwed.
So that's a big thing too. I mean, I think people could leverage that though. They can go to their employers and say, "Hey,
Right.
I can't write these off anymore. You're
Yeah.
expecting me to have these
a good point.
expenses. I need to be reimbursed for." it."
Right.
Yeah.
So, and as
And
a
which
loan,
is,
I didn't know that. That's
that's a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one because that saved me like quite a bit.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah, no, I reviewed your taxes,
Yeah.
even though, as you said, John does it all. Yeah, no, I saw that and it did. No, truthfully, it helped
He
you out.
reviewed
It
it.
added
Yep.
to your
Yeah.
itemized deduction, which reduced down your taxable income, and you paid overall less taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and it's a big expense for guys like
for valid
us.
reasons.
For
right?
valid
Sure.
reasons.
No,
right.
you're out there. That's what
Yeah.
you guys are doing. You mentioned tonight you have a little thing going on in Royal Oak sale, right? You're going to entertain some realtors. Well, you can't write that off anymore. Now, for you guys are business owners now.
Now, right?
By the way, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no,
that, man.
that's great. But you guys can still write it off as a small business owner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, all the loan officers out there, just start your own business. You'll be fine.
So the
It's
biggest win for people is the higher standard deduction, right?
I
Because
would
those
say
who
that.
wouldn't have itemized before are still getting that extra double.
For sure.
Yeah.
Another big win in there. So if you guys have kids, I know me and Paul do.
Yeah.
Before you're allowed $1,000 credit, tax credit, refundable credit on those kids, and it was phased out. Now for each kid, it's $2,000 refundable credit. Up to what is it, John? $400,000, married something like that. So
How many kids
higher
would you have to
limit.
have?
Yeah.
I should just
I
have
got
more
3 kids, so that's a $6,000 refundable credit
Mm-hmm.
that's going to offset my tax liability.
Wow.
So they
said
got
up
rid
to-
of the exemptions, but they upped the credit, and credits are better than a deduction.
Right.
So it's,
Correct.
Yeah.
So you get a $2,000 credit per kid up to $400,000. That's
No,
No,
if
no.
you're
So
making
it's-
400,000,
that's a lot of kids.
Your modified AGI,
No,
roughly.
Gotcha.
The
income, bud. Don't worry, you're not there.
I was like,
No,
man.
no, it's phased out at your income, Brad. Yeah,
From
no,
Marty
that'd be
over
a
here.
lot of kids.
That'd
Maybe
be
Sal,
exhausting.
not us, but
Salvatore might have them. We just
Well,
don't
if
know
you
about
claim
it.
them.
Yeah.
That's right. If you acknowledge them or claim them, like what's the difference?
Man.
Oh God, yeah, that's scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
So just in this last 5 minutes, I mean, if you're listening out there and you're a TurboTax guy or
Don't do
you
it.
don't do it. I mean, just in this last 5 minutes, you can tell that these guys add a lot of value.
I'm glad
right?
you brought that up.
I used to be a TurboTax guy.
Yeah,
never
me too.
again.
Me too. So I was a TurboTax guy. As you know, I ended up owing the IRS
Yeah, you came to
$2,500.
me. You had notices.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
audit too, I believe. Or
Yeah,
something, right?
yeah. And I'm like, John, and you're like, oh man,
FBI? Oh no, we didn't.
Yeah, he's like, okay, we'll fix it. Like, so bottom line is, I thought I knew what I was doing. Honestly, like I was like, I'm smart and I can do this. TurboTax just does it for. No, dude, no, it's a bad.
It's so
move.
funny. It's like, well, it's like $30 or $40 through TurboTax. It's like, well, it's not $200 to have a professional do it, and you're going to get another 1,000 back that you didn't know you could.
And the whole time you're going through the TurboTax, it's trying to upsell you and try to charge you. It ends up costing you $110 and you're like, did I answer the questions right? I don't know.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Just pay the extra, get a professional.
And you get that nice letter in the
have the
mail.
questions answered all the time.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how happy I was with your service. I'm being honest. Like I was blown away by the professionalism, the fact that like you guys educated me, you guys understood way more than I thought you did.
So what is that?
Paul,
Explain that to me. Do we come off like we look like we shouldn't know anything, or what does that mean?
No, you guys are just too handsome to be smart.
Gotcha. Well,
I
know a lot of. So are you guys saying that you guys aren't smart because you guys?
Look at me.
Very handsome.
Do you think I look like someone that knows the ins and outs of how to run a business and do a mortgage transaction?
No,
That's true, Brad. You
look homeless.
Surprised a lot of
I'm
people.
going to plead the fifth on that one. But
So-
the Pikachu shirt's kind of a dead giveaway. Though.
I wore it
He's
just
got
for
something
you,
going on up
For
there.
those that listen to the podcast and don't watch the video or live video feed, Brad always looks a little homeless.
it's okay. It's kind of his look.
I wouldn't
He
say
rocks
homeless.
it.
He just looks tired. Because he's like, but in a good way.
Yeah, I met him and he had a pair of moccasins on that had holes in the front and his toes were sticking out in my conference room. I was a little alarmed. I'm not going to lie.
And you're like,
I was a little alarmed.
This was when we were starting our business, and you guys were like, "This is your guy." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, man, he's a savant.
Yeah.
He knows everything."
No, it's good though. You got to have those people.
So overall, guys, I mean, honestly,
Well, he's
like
comfortable.
a lot of people like have like, oh, they're changing the like people like I feel like don't understand the tax code, and they have like a bad connotation to it almost. Like, why would they be changing it? I like the way it was. People are afraid to change. They don't totally understand it. So to your point though, they need to talk to a professional, right? They need
Especially if they don't understand something. Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
Well, nothing will basically set your heart on fire and have it turn to ashes and fall to the ground so slowly than getting that letter in the mail that says IRS.
Yeah,
Sound like the poetry
Man,
night
what's
last
going
night.
on?
it's funny. We're used to it. So when people we're like, send us the notice. We think nothing of it. We see notices all
John
the
was
time.
like so chill about it.
I was like, yeah,
dude,
let me see it. I'll handle it.
Yeah.
Other people, they get it and they think it's like they're going to jail.
Yeah, I got it. I'm like, John, I got this thing. I haven't responded to it. I'm late. John's like, just give it to me. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. He doesn't seem like it's a big deal. So yeah, I mean, dude, tax code is big. What else do you guys specialize in? Like, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so our services, it's not just tax
Right.
prep. We have a full service bookkeeping department. We have certified QuickBook Pros on staff. We have a payroll processing company. From financial statement preparations to compilations, reviews, audits. As a business owner, you need a certain level of service sometimes. Pretty much full level accounting service.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's funny, too, because, as an independent contractor, which you would say probably most real estate agents are, right?
Yep.
Well, probably all of them to a degree, right?
Correct.
It's easy in this business. I don't want to say easy, but it's to make a lot of money, right?
sure.
I mean, you work hard and do everything, but you don't really have like the business part set, right? And there's countless real estate agents that I talk to that are like, man, I did really good this year. I'm like, well, where are you doing your taxes? I haven't done them in 3 years.
Sure.
That happened. I'm
and
like, man,
That's a lot of that's a lot of our
I'm like,
clients.
I hope you have like 80
Yeah.
grand put away.
Well, this is the thing too, especially if someone just gets into real estate and they're used to getting paid W-2 or whatever, and those taxes are coming out. Now that 1099 income's coming in, it's coming in
Yeah.
untaxed.
They're
right?
at Lucido's in Rochester.
Yeah, they're just seeing the Iceman cashing out. In line.
Shout out to the
I think
Ice
you were
Man.
there last night, John.
Yeah, I was just saying, what's up?
I will not go.
But yeah, it's and typically, a lot of when you start making money, what are the things you think about buying? And one of them will be a house, right? Hey, I've got a lot of money put away. I did really well this year. I want to get serious about buying a house. All right, well, let's look at your taxes. Well, I got these 1099s. Okay, where are your returns? I didn't do them.
Yeah.
It's like, man.
That's how it is for a lot of people
And then
too.
it's- Yeah, it's figuring it out.
And I get it. Taxes aren't always the number one thing on your mind. I
Well,
mean,
people avoid them.
they avoid them.
Right,
They don't.
it's an avoidance more
like
than
they're
anything.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
sometimes though, it's not as bad as it's going to be, especially if you see the right people.
Right.
If they come and see us, we're going to try to minimize it the best we can. But the longer you wait, the interest grows, the penalties grow, and then you got some huge thing waiting on you.
Well, and I think there's a difference between seeing like a tax preparer and a CPA, right?
For sure.
And I mean,
Like the guy parked out in the
because anybody can do taxes.
The guy in the strip mall
Legally,
next.
I could do taxes for people and be a tax preparer,
Sure.
right?
Yep.
Correct.
Right.
You can open up an accounting.
That'd be smart.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Come to me,
Tax Whiz or something like that, right next to Jets Pizza.
Sure.
Yeah. Boom. What do you want to get back?
Yeah.
Tax Whiz.
I'm like, well,
Right, yeah.
yeah, and you'll do it, but
Yeah.
you need someone who's professional to help you, toe the line and understand what you can and can't do, so you don't end up with that dirty letter.
Yeah, and that's something you're talking about when you're saying, hey, people are making money and they're thinking about buying a house. When I have like new clients come in or something, we have conversation and say, hey, well, are you going to be looking for a mortgage, in the future, stuff like that, because you don't always want to bring that income all the way down with a bunch of expenses and stuff like that, because they're going to end up wanting to be approved and things like that. So we kind of feel out their whole situation and not just go. It's not always like give the most, save the most.
Save
tax
the most
dollars.
taxes. If you're going to buy a house,
yes.
okay, so the next couple years on your tax
You
return,
gotta
you're going to have to
show
show
income.
more
Yeah.
income, and,
Yeah.
unfortunately pay a little more tax. And that's when, we get with you guys and make sure that, it makes sense across the board.
Yeah.
For sure.
So let me ask you, something that comes up a lot, we've talked about it, is capital gains. A lot of misconceptions about capital gains. A lot of, people think that so I had a guy, I'll give you an example. I had a guy, he was in his house a year and 10 months, right? And he was going to sell it for a profit, and he's like, man, I'm going to get hit with capital gains for the full amount. And I talked to both of you, and you both said the same thing. I think I called you, Joe, and I said, what's
But
going
he had
on?
to double check it with John.
Yeah, then I was like, John,
Not true,
yeah.
Brad. But that was very good.
He just said I called both of you, but I called you first.
No, Joe was definitely the first person I called.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks, Paul. I'll leave. You
Man,
guys
just,
want me to leave?
just shopping answers between the two.
Like, John, is this right? So basically, though, what he did tell me, though, it's prorated. So he's not getting hammered for the full 2 years.
Well, it's based on there's loopholes, right? So you got to be at least two, for set in stone, no issues.
Complete exclusion.
You got to be there for 2 years. Out of
Right.
the last 5 years, you don't have anything to worry about.
2 out of 5 years.
Yeah. Now there's the prorated thing. There's got to be some type of exception. Now it's gray area. Okay. It's if you had to move because of job, emergency, something like that. I was looking it up. It's even saying, hey, if the house you bought's in a bad area, such as crime. I swear to God,
Are you serious?
one of the things said
Very gray.
if you're dealing with bullying, it said bullying.
So it's
then
so
you can-
arbitrary.
So it's
Correct.
you can
Most of
kinda,
the tax law is.
Yeah, no, it is.
yeah.
It's
Yep.
how you
And that's
interpret it.
It's interpretations, right?
Correct.
So basically, if my kid's getting bullied, hypothetically, I could leave before the 2 years, and it's prorated at that
Sure.
point.
Yeah.
Prorated.
Yeah.
Exactly. So like you said, what, a year and
How do
10
you prove
months?
that? I'm just curious.
22, yeah.
But there's a
That's something to
standard
think about, too.
exclusion,
Yeah.
anyways, isn't there?
It's for if you're there at least 2 years at your primary in the last 5 years. You're getting $250,000 capital gain exclusion if you're single, $500,000 if you're married.
So less than they
Gain.
prorate it down.
Gain. That's a gain, right?
gain.
Correct.
Good,
Yeah.
good point.
And you got to think too, that's covering a lot. I mean, some people make money on their houses, but I mean, that much of a gain is hard
Especially if
to-
you've only been there close to 2 years,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
hard.
If you make
So,
that much money, there's
Would you
something going
still show that on your tax return, or you wouldn't even need
You have to
show it?
report it.
You have to
Still
report it.
report
It's excluded as.
Yep.
So does it still count in your gross income then?
No. It's going to go in and out, but if you don't report it, there's going to be a 1099 proceeds reported
Right.
to the IRS. You'll get a really nasty notice saying, hey,
Those
you had a
dirty
$300,000 gain,
yeah.
you owe X amount of dollars.
Man,
And, yeah,
who do you
have to
think
amend
writes
it.
those letters? You think it's a computer
I
or
think
just
it's
some
computer.
guy who's just like,
Depends. There's actually two
getting off
types, two
back
types
there.
of notices. Some are handwritten,
Yeah.
by an actual agent, and some are just
I
computer
imagine
generated.
this guy with spectacles on and looking all mean and
It's about right.
right? He just looks like it. He's like, ah ha ha, I'm gonna ha 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 ha. Like, he
It's
gets
true
off
though.
on
Some
it.
of them are. They want to get you. You
Correct.
know, I mean, he deals with the audits a lot more
I
than
deal
I
with
do.
a lot of audits, and I'm dealing with one right now, and the agent is very, very difficult, and they do not
He's
like
looking
the
for blood.
taxpayer that I'm representing, and they're after him.
Are you able to file a grievance and get a different agent, or no?
You
Doesn't
can,
matter.
and you can always appeal. You can always get what's called a 30-day write-up from the IRS where they say, hey, you owe this after the audit, and you can appeal to the next level.
Okay, so
That's why you hire a professional.
yeah, 100%. So let's talk a little bit about the economy right now, right? And just this headline, I'll read it again. There are more jobs than people out of work, something the American economy has never experienced before, which is wild, right?
Thank you, President Trump.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. The economy is super healthy, right?
Yeah.
Super healthy, And I keep hearing these like people like they're like, it's gonna crash. It's gonna crash. It's gonna
They've
crash.
been calling for this for a long time, though,
Well,
right? Even in your side, just switching gears,
Yeah.
the real estate, it's so high. Everything's high. It's got to come down. Got to come down. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. They've been saying this for 4 or 5 years now, right?
And those who waited have lost.
Correct.
Yes. So what do you guys think? I mean, do you guys see an this cataclysm that's going to happen where like everything's going to implode again and we've got 2008, or do you guys kind of say like there might be a little bit of a correction, or do you guys think, hey, we're going up, we're fine right now, there's nothing to worry about?
Okay, so we're number guys, and a lot of
Yeah.
the indicators, a lot of the economic indicators say that we're okay,
Yeah.
right? But you would think there's got to be a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a dip. What happened 07, 08, that's comparable to the Great Depression in the 30s, right?
Yep.
I don't think we'll ever see something like that
It was an
again.
anomaly. In
And
my opinion.
and they've done things to stop that stuff from happening. With the market,
Well, the housing market.
With the
Yeah,
industry, you
yeah.
guys know how,
Yeah.
how people can get approved, underwriting, they've, switched things.
Well, before it was shaky ground, which the economy was kind of built on. Now it's everything's being built upon the economy that's been recovering, right? Including the housing market with the regulation and everything like that. I'm not worried about the housing market.
I personally think it's like because it happened so like it wasn't that long ago that we had this massive issue in 2008, 2007, 2009 that people are so jaded by that.
Scarred, no
Scarred,
doubt.
right?
How can they not be?
For
we
sure.
watched it. I was working. John just got into the industry. I started in 04, so I watched people rise. I saw people, families lose their jobs, homes, foreclosures. You'd pull down a street, there'd be 25 foreclosures. It was scary.
It was bad.
Yeah,
It was really
autos were
bad.
about to leave here. If Obama didn't come in and bail out the big three,
Yeah.
this could have been a ghost town.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was very, very, very bad. I get that. And I think that's part of the reason why people are so worried about what's going to happen in the future, because they think that's going to happen again. Look, I think just naturally as we grow, you've got to have it's like breathing, right? You can't just exhale forever, right? You got to take a breath sometimes. So like at some point, it's gonna, you're gonna have to take a little bit of a breath, and things are gonna kind of slow down a little bit. Maybe there's gonna be a little bit of a correction. Sure. But that's healthy, right? That you gotta
I think
have
it's normal,
that. You
you
can't
know.
grow forever
No.
in perpetuity, but
It's like when you drink, you're going. I wish we could just keep getting higher and higher and higher all the time,
Well,
but
if
it
you-
corrects, it corrects. And then that's it.
I mean, what
It
are we
corrects,
talking
and
about?
then,
Yeah,
lot
at
of
some
sense.
point
I'm
you
just trying to
gotta,
give,
at some point you got to write the check.
At some time
right?
you got to come down
I
eventually.
feel
You would
like,
think a slight dip though
But I
is
feel like,
got to
yeah.
happen here. You would think, right?
I think we're probably a year or two away from that. Personally, I think it's gonna happen, but I don't think it's gonna be this this can be crazy thing that everybody's gonna be so devastated
Well,
as we foreclosures again.
Look at interest rates, how long and hesitant it's been to just
gradual.
raise them a little.
Correct.
It's not like all of a sudden, boom, 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 like the hyperinflation, the hyper increase of rates that doesn't exist, right? I mean, people are freaking out, and it's like your rate's a quarter point higher,
Right.
Like let's
Still some of the lowest rates in the
Yeah.
history of borrowing, right, in this country. Still.
They're still really good.
Sure.
You can probably get 4.75
I got
right
people
now.
saying they're not going to buy the house because it's 5% as opposed to 4.75. I'm like,
What's wrong? I don't get that. I just don't. I don't
okay,
know. I don't get
They're
it.
like, do you realize how much interest that is per year? I'm like, yeah, it's
Just
a few $100 more
right.
than 4.75.
Yeah, it's still. Yeah,
it's your dream house, and you're going to pass on it.
So I'm going to
Yeah.
talk. I want to talk to
It'll
the
be,
audience real quick.
6%
So,
next
so
year.
audience, if you're
maybe.
thinking about buying a house and you're like, I shouldn't buy right now because I think the market's too hot or interest rates are too hot. What?
Idiot.
Wow,
Oh, he's just called your audience idiots.
that's aggressive.
Brad's
Wow.
really just coming out
Man.
today.
Well,
you
he just
know.
rolled out of bed.
He showed up late.
No,
He had the
I've been up for
Pokemon shirt on. He's, calling people idiots.
Which is heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing shirt. But listen,
I do like the shirt, Brad.
I said this
I do, it's
last
heaven.
year. I did. I said this last year. You guys, buy the house now, because if you don't buy it now, there's two things that are going to happen. Rates are going to go higher, so the price of money is going to go higher, right? So it's going to cost you more for the same exact house, period. On top of that, appreciation is happening pretty rampantly right now.
As we
so that
speak.
same $200,000 house last year is probably $240,000,
Yeah.
depending on the area, right?
Sure.
So not only did it get more expensive to borrow the money, that same house with the same square footage in the same area cost X amount more, right? So between those two factors, you're paying so much more money today than you would have a year ago.
Sure.
That's going to be the same a year from
And
now.
now
So-
inventory's down, so you have bidding wars, and you add that into the mix too.
Correct. Yeah.
From a year from now, I mean, it's not going to come down that quick, as we just all kind of
Right.
agreed upon. You would think, hey, this is a good time to get into the market.
I think if you're going to speculate on buying a house, you should be an investor, right? You should be looking at, well, is now a good time to maybe buy a rental property or a fix and flip?
I agree, Sal.
But if you're going to be buying a primary home, waiting is not a good strategy.
No,
doesn't make
you want a
sense.
home, right? You want to live there.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
You got a family. You got. I'm just gonna rent, or like if you're a single guy and you're like, I'm just gonna rent for another.
Sure.
Yeah.
What? 3 years? How
You
long?
want
you
to
gonna
play
wait?
it safe? Go get an RV.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, man.
That would be
You know, hey,
I want an RV.
Why don't you
That
get
should
one,
be
Paul?
the reality show.
Yeah.
Us on an RV.
Those two in an RV.
Yeah,
They'll
I think
talk
us
about
two in
that-
Vegas
that would
would
be-
be a
that would be a
better
murder mystery.
reality show.
March, we were there.
yeah.
Yeah.
March
But
Madness.
to your
saw the
point,
shot.
Paul, most people when
Jordan
you
Poole.
get pre-approved and you want to buy a house, you get your pre-approval letter for say $250,000. You're not going to buy a $120,000 house. You're looking at the higher end of the spectrum, right? Because you want your dream house. Everyone wants their dream house. So with the combination of appreciation and raising interest rates, that house that you love that you passed on a year from now, you may not qualify because now the purchase price is going to be higher and the interest rate is going to be higher. You're still making probably the same, maybe a small raise, but you may not even qualify for the house anymore.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what John was saying. Now you have to show more income for another year.
Right.
More
If you're
taxes.
self-employed,
right?
that means, hey,
Yeah.
you got to pay another $10,000 in taxes. Your payment's $100 higher, and another $100 higher because it's $20,000 more. You know,
Yep.
You know.
bad rules for people who wait. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah,
they say patience is a virtue, but you know,
Especially
maybe
not in this market, though. Like you're saying, if you see something you like, you got to get on it. If you're thinking about interest rates, my thinking of it, we're all getting crushed with interest, right? Over the life of a loan. It's just how it goes. When you're buying a house, you got a ton of mortgage interest, right? So, I mean,
Yeah,
what's it?
I mean, people are like,
Well, I'm giving this much.
well, I
over-
don't want to do this. Do you know
Yeah.
how much interest that is? They buy it cash.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got
Cash
the
it
money in
out
the
then.
bank?
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
You need to borrow money. You're going to pay interest on it, no matter what.
sorry,
Right,
man,
yeah.
it sucks. I have a mortgage too.
Yeah, most people do. If I
Yeah.
could cash it out, I probably wouldn't be doing this.
I do
You-
too. My
yeah.
interest rate is
Yeah.
not very low.
Yeah.
Yours is not.
No.
No. Why?
Did you not use Paul and Sale, or what happened there?
I'm writing my own loan. My interest rate is going to be quite high, but that's because I just want a higher rate to offset some of the costs.
So the audience understands you can get a higher rate to cover your costs, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, oh, why am I getting a higher rate? Well, you want zero costs?
I'd rather have my out of pocket money
You're
go
saying to cover
towards
like the down
principal.
payment.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You can,
Not down payment, but the
closing
cost. So
Yeah,
escrow
so let's say your
is-
closing costs on a $200,000 house, right, are $6,000. That's 3%, right? So you can
I'll include that.
take
in
the market rate at 0 points, right? You could pay points to get your rate lower, or a lot of people don't realize you could take, like, let's say the rate's 4.625. Hey, if you take 5 1/4, we're gonna give you $4,000 of that cost off, right? Well, what's the difference in payment? Let's say it's $80, right? Well, it's 50-month break even. So, do you think you're gonna be in the house more than 5 years? No, man, 2 years, perfect. You know,
Gotcha.
that makes sense.
Even if
but-
you are, it's
and you can write off the interest up to
Yeah, but you know what's happening right now? Because people are so interest rate conscious, they're shopping for rates, right? And they'll call like a Bank of America or a Chase or Quicken Loans, whoever it is, and all of a sudden I get a call, Paul, my rate's lower than what you quoted me. I'm like, oh, sweet, okay, let's look at that, because if you're getting a better deal, I'm good with it. Like, I want people to have a good deal, I don't care, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I try to do good business. And I look at the documents, and they're getting charged 3 points,
Right.
which is 3% of the loan amount. So if it's $100,000, that's $3,000 to get a quarter better in rate, which is saving them $15 a month, and their recoup time on that investment's like 8 years.
on top of all the other costs. That's in addition to.
But people are so conditioned to try to get that low rate. They want to wear it on their like lapel, like hey, I got a 4 1/4,
Yeah.
right? Congratulations.
They like go out. You like go out and they talk about the
Right,
rate they
right. Like, oh,
got.
I got a 4 1/4. Yeah, dude. Well, how much did it cost? Well, it cost X amount of dollars. Well, okay. Well, I'm sorry, but whoever you got taken advantage of.
Sure.
Because you're so focused.
But
on
I'm going to save so much over the 30 years I have.
You'll
this
never
loan.
be in the house 30 years, dude.
Who cares?
I know.
It's crazy. What do you guys think about student loan debt?
I mean, it's crazy.
They were talking
It's a
about
lot,
getting
right?
rid of that deduction, and luckily, you
Yeah,
know, you can
they
still
kept that.
deduct that.
If
on
there
your
is
tax
a
return.
bubble, in my opinion, financially speaking, in our country right now, it's a student loan debt bubble, dude. It's crazy. College is a racket for all you kids that are thinking about going to college.
Man.
If you're not going to go as
Racket.
to be a doctor, a CPA, where you have to be very, very specialized, don't go to college. It's a waste of time and money. Now, if you want to go party, go hang out with your friends at Michigan State.
I was going to say, I mean, there's some good experiences there
Some
too.
good social experiences.
But you can take that $150,000 that you're going to spend, and you could probably do some other things with
You
it.
just go rent an apartment in a college town and have the same experiences.
It is
Don't go to class.
absolutely. It's an absolute racket. How much it costs to go to college today, and the knowledge that you gain by going to college does zero for you in the real world.
I can tell you right now, you know, bachelor's, master's, pass a CPA exam, and I use very little of all of that.
But you had to do it.
I had to do it. I
it.
think that's a thing
Yeah.
to put in that
It's-
time and effort
it's
to
a
get
way
those
to-
credentials.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of where they're at with
They
it.
weed people
But,
out.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
it's how
the
they do
excuse
it.
people make. 'Cause
No,
they're
no,
like,
I'm
"What?"
not saying it's a good thing, but it's
just-
just how they do it. It's a money-making thing. I mean, like you saying, I probably remember 2 professors in my whole college career that like I truly picked up stuff from.
Yeah.
And they gave us good life lessons.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't learn. I don't use any of my like accounting knowledge.
No,
or anything,
dude.
right? I learned it all on the
No.
job through just experience, through sitting in with him, sitting in with my dad. You know, sitting on calls, just working, plugging away.
Say that again. You learned something from me.
Yeah.
Man, there it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the reality. I mean, look, I learned more my first year of actually working than
Yeah.
I ever did in the 5.5 years.
I mean,
was
that's the
in
best
college.
No
experience.
doubt.
You know?
Right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It is, and this is my point. These kids are racking up $150,000 in student loan debt. They come out and they're making $45,000 a year.
It's crazy,
and then
man.
and then you're paying interest less than the actual payment, so your actual balance is going up.
Yeah,
And
I got
the
a little.
thing you work so
notice.
hard, the thing you work so hard for, and got all that debt for a little piece of paper, you lose it.
Don't
I have no
use
idea
it.
where mine even is.
No, neither do I.
Not a
How's
clue.
that student loan payment work with you guys when
It's a
figuring?
pain,
It's
yeah.
just a payment, like the
Whatever
debt
the
to,
payment is.
It
Yeah.
depends
Yeah,
on the loan,
okay.
actually. So, like
Yeah.
FHA, if it's not because most loan payments typically aren't fully amortizing, right?
Right.
So it's like, hey, you got 80 grand of student loans and you're paying, $107 a month. Well, you'll be far gone
Right.
before you would ever pay that off,
Yeah.
right? You're not even covering the interest nut.
Right.
So, in that situation, we would use 1% to qualify them with
For
an
FHA.
$800 payment.
For
you know?
FHA.
And conventional lets you
So it
use
depends.
whatever's on
Okay.
It's
whatever's
conventional
on the
loans,
credit report.
Whatever's on the credit report, that's what you're going to pay. So if you're on an income-based payment plan and it reports as that, so like
Or the actual payment.
yeah,
you
or the
know?
actual payment. FHA
So-
it has to be fully amortizing, or 1%.
Bottom line is, it doesn't really affect the mortgage that much. Which
Unless you're like, and there's loans for these people, but unless you're like a doctor who has like 250 grand of student loans, like
Yeah.
you're probably going to be okay. But
Right.
we'll see what happens. I agree with a lot of what you said. I think teach their own, do what you want to do. You want to rack the debt up. I guess you just don't realize it when you're 18.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, some
dude.
people, I think and
it's like the stigma of like,
you have to, right? I mean, it's
It's
hard.
what we
to,
know.
like,
It's what
yeah.
our generation above us put on us, right?
Yeah.
Go to
Right.
school, go to school, go to school.
Yeah.
I think that may change though, just depending.
I'm literally going
But
to tell my kid, dude, unless you're going to do something that's like super hyper like specialized, I don't want you to go to school.
I think a lot of it
I'm not
depends
kidding.
on
Like-
the employers, though. If a lot of employers, no matter what, require you to have some type of
I think that's
going
gonna
to
change.
Get it.
I
And,
personally think it's
you
going to
know-
change. I think there should be apprenticeships. I think people should come out of high school and go.
And hey,
Hey, some of our best employees don't have a college degree.
correct.
We're kind of one of those people that, I mean, obviously a resume is nice, right? But like, we rather them learn a way that how we do it.
Yeah.
And if they're hard workers, they're hard workers.
Come work under my
regardless of,
wing. Let me teach you our way.
yeah.
Teach you the right way. You're going to learn way more with us than you would through college, and you get to groom them, and they become very good employees.
Yeah.
Where if someone comes out of college, they've got this piece of paper, but they don't know anything.
But they think they do.
But they don't know anything. You might have this piece of paper. You're not really a good hire.
No, they have no experience. All they have school, and they come out and they ask for these crazy salaries
Oh,
right at the
it's
bat.
insane.
And
It's like-
it is funny even
Because
while
they
you're
feel
in
like
college,
they deserve.
you know,
First of all, they got to pay back the debt.
yeah.
at
Yeah,
the
there's
end
there's a new sense of entitlement within the new people coming out of college that me and my brother have picked up on.
Really?
Well, I remember
yeah.
graduating
A lot of demands
in June.
with no experience.
They don't know.
I did like
I don't blame
the
them.
4.25 year program at Western. A quarter of my life was shaved off just being there. But
Yeah.
um,
Can you tell us some stories about that? Or
no,
It's
man,
probably
I
more
think
than
we'll
a
let
quarter,
that
bud.
lie. Yeah, at least. 50's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
But the we I remember just like a few months before graduating thinking, did it, man.
Right.
Like I'm gonna get like a sick job making like 60 G's a year, crunching spreadsheets for some large company. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Boom, call from Quicken Loans. Hey, we'll pay you like 18 grand a
Cents.
year.
Yeah. You're going to work 150 hours a
yeah.
week.
But you see that guy over there?
Yeah.
He worked at Little Caesars before, and now he's whipping around a Maserati.
Sure.
I'm like,
Yeah.
boom, let's
Wow.
do it. You know,
I'm
which
kind of the same.
it kind of worked out, you know, for me, but you got to find opportunity.
It's a lot of work too. You
Where's your
gotta,
Maserati?
What's
It's
a
a car.
Maserati?
It's a very nice
Where's your Maserati? So it worked out for you.
Yeah. Oh, man. Brad's just shooting
I
shots
just-
today.
That's a good
All
day.
right. Good night.
Yeah, I think we're gonna,
Screw in the tire.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh wait, just so
Now
everybody
we know who
understands,
did
so
it.
I just want the audience to understand something that Sal. I pull up today and Sal's like, I have a screw in my tire, and I seriously think
Perfectly
someone.
placed,
I think someone did it.
Yeah, no.
I don't think it was an accident.
No, it looks pretty.
What do you mean perfectly placed?
It looks like someone took a screw gun and put it right into my tire.
Yeah, like
I
literally
think someone did.
It's like symmetrically
into the
right
side
in the
or
middle.
into
You
the
know what's
No.
funny? That you know all the cars probably in the past 5-10 years. It's like your tire's low.
Yeah.
It's heaven.
Your car actually told you your tire. You got,
Yeah, I come out there. I'm like, oh, maybe it's not. It looks fine. And then there's some.
Yeah.
Is your tire going to be
Some
flat?
robber-
When you
That's
get
what
out
I
there?
say. When we go out there now, his
For
rim
sure.
will be touching
Yeah,
the
it's
ground.
gonna be
For
pretty-
sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It was
So yeah, I do
intentional.
think, just to wrap that up, I do think that we're going to have a problem when all these student loan debt comes due. And hypothetically, if there is a downturn at any point in time, and these kids that have all these payments to have to make, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of defaults on student loans. I really do. I think we already see a lot of it right now. You see people that had student loans that defaulted on it, and a lot of parents that co-signed on it. It hurts their credit. Like it's going to be a little bit of a problem, and I just think that you guys just should not go to college. That's my point.
Yeah, nice one. Good advice there, Uncle Paul.
Yeah.
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 Just
Note to
stupid.
self.
Yeah.
Kids do not see them.
Dude, it's just
But
dumb.
I mean, yeah, but it depends on
agree
the
to a degree.
employer, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how many employers out there are going to give these kids even a shot? if
Well,
they don't have
let me
anyone
Without a
to them?
degree.
Let me talk to
They
these
don't even
employers.
look.
Employers, you're dumb too. You're
Yes.
dumb. Just because someone has a piece of paper doesn't mean they're like going to be a good employee. If you're a smart employer, take somebody under your wing, give them the first 3 years, pay them money, teach them how to do the business. They don't have any debt. They're going to love you for it, and that's a good employer. An employer that just sits there and goes, well, did you get your degree? Did you get that? Shut up.
Yeah, I think
Shut
I
up.
think you're somewhat right.
Yeah.
We have to get there because I know as an owner,
Yeah.
without that degree, they don't even enter my office for the interview.
Right.
Right. So,
But it's also like I mean, how many people are going to come into like an accounting firm without?
Well, they're
degree-
not.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
Like
it's just
different-
not.
it
It's
depends.
not. It's not.
Yeah.
we got to
palatable
get
right
there.
now.
But I
Yeah.
think you're definitely talking right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I
No.
appreciate that.
Good stuff there, Paul.
So how did you guys meet Salvatore? I know that you met him. somewhere.
Oh, where
That's
I
a
met
really good
Sal,
story.
man.
Yeah, let's talk about
Toronto?
how
very
Man.
very close friend of ours. He's a builder in Rochester.
Okay.
He had a bachelor party in
Oh, bachelor
Toronto.
party. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's where I
I've
met-
heard about
I
this
went to
party.
Western with him,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. He brought us together, and we, he's been.
My
we worked out
understanding is
good,
that you fell in love on that trip.
I mean, I don't know about
That was
fell in
my
love.
interpretation.
I mean,
Fell
he's a
in
good guy.
love.
we went and met for a lunch right after the four of us.
Yes.
Right. And
Yes.
I sensed a little chemistry.
There's
between
a lot
us.
of
there's-
chemistry.
There's
Yeah.
chemistry. Yeah, no, he's a good guy. We had fun. Another fellow paisan. So and then
Yeah.
and then it always
it all
works
went
off.
down in the six.
When you meet people and you have similar, CPA, mortgage, we can work together. It's always a bonus if you get
Yeah.
along with the person and have similar likes.
For sure.
Then it's easy to work together, right? So
Talk to me about the New Orleans trip.
No.
Nope.
All right. And that's a wrap,
yeah,
folks. Yeah.
that was a fun time.
Jessica, how are you
Yeah,
today?
Good
by the
po'
way,
boy.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah?
How are you guys?
Good. Can you tell the audience how they can find us?
Yeah, you want to go to PodcastDetroit.com and then in the search bar type Inside Real Estate
we
and
go,
the
yeah.
show will pop up and go ahead and share it from there.
Yeah, and we're also on like what, iTunes,
SoundCloud, iTunes,
SoundCloud,
Stitcher,
Google Play,
Google
all that
Play.
stuff, right?
all the places.
All right, cool.
Nice.
Inside Real Estate. That's what we're
Our
called.
Facebook page as well.
We're on Facebook.
If you go to the Mega Lending Group, you'll see you can watch
Okay.
it on there as well.
Okay, nobody cares about us. Guys, how do they
Good
get in
one, I
contact
followed
with you? How does the audience, if they need some help with anything?
First thing, obviously, we'd rather meet you or talk to you. So you can either go to our website, angelcompany.com. Our information's there. We have a Facebook page, but, it's not
2 L's.
ideal. Yeah, Angel
Two
with two
Ls.
L's. Angel with two L's.
Yes.
Or give us a call at our office, 248-649-8720. Ask for Joe or John Jr. We can talk to you. See,
I actually suggest
Yeah.
just walking into the office at any given time.
Yeah, no, come to our office. It's a fun office.
You hear
We got
screaming, that's my mom. Just
Yeah.
ignore that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
God bless her heart. She's got to put up with you guys, though.
Yeah, no, it's interesting
Yeah.
scenario up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
you know?
we
It's
got to get
fun,
the
though.
camera crew.
Yeah, no, we have to.
We
I
have
mean,
to.
that'd be a lot easier than
Just take it over to
Working.
Locchino's.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go over to Lachino's. We hang out there sometimes. Yeah.
All right, well.
All right, well, that's it. That's all we got. Brad, how you gonna have a good day today?
I'm gonna have a great day today.
Okay, you're buying a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look
Thanks for that
stressed out.
reminder.
Yeah,
a little
You're-
bit.
are you buying a house?
I wasn't stressed out until you just brought
House
it
is
back up.
stressful.
Fucker.
yeah. It's buying
Where
a
you
house is
looking-
stressful.
Where you looking, Brad?
I'm not looking anymore.
What happened, man?
I found a house. I've been looking for a year and a half.
Last thing before we go, just to give you a background, Brad Weisgerber, he was living in Flint in a home
am.
that he bought for $30,000.
32.
32. It's probably worth 20 at this point.
Wow, I'm
No,
surprised it's worth
it's worth more.
in Flint.
It's worth great. If anyone wants to buy a house in Flint, I'll give you a great deal.
Yeah, you just can't
It's
drink
gonna
the
hit
water.
the market next week.
So buying
get
a
free
house,
water,
he's going
which
from
is
that.
nice.
He's going from like a 800
So-
square foot house, I think it is, right?
Yeah.
To a 33,000 square foot house.
3,300. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow, that's awesome.
I think we're paying you too much.
Well, no, I mean the whole point I bought the house in Flint was it was before the water crisis came out.
Well, obviously,
So I
don't
thought
think
it was-
you bought it during.
It was gonna be a good
no.
deal, right? I bought it cheap. It was a cheap house. It was cheaper than what I was renting for. I was renting a house for $1,100 a month. I got a house that's $300 a month, and I own it. So
Yeah.
I was only planning on living there for 12 months, 18 months tops, turning around, selling it for a profit, or renting it out. I did not expect to live there as long as I have, and I'm
Yeah.
very glad to get out.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
congratulations.
Well,
Your
congrats, man.
family's
Yeah,
grown
congrats.
exponentially since.
Exponentially.
Yeah,
How many kids do you have?
3.
Wow.
two
God
and a
bless
mistake.
ya.
All right, guys. Thank you all very much for listening.
Thanks, guys.
We will
Yeah,
see you
thank
guys
you.
next week. Thanks, guys, for being on the show.
Of
You guys are
course.
fantastic.
Yeah, we had
and,
fun.
Love you all. Goodbye.